Is this a political game changer, in your opinion? Also, there's a ruling later this month, 31st of December, on Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. And that means, will Uhuru and Ruto be cleared to run? Right? What's the way forward? And again, let's look at the political picture going forward. Okay, let me put another scenario. Uhuru is picked as Mudavadi's running mate, right? Ruto runs and wins or becomes House Majority Leader, which is basically what he wants. He'll have the most numbers in the House. So there'll be a Deputy President-elect if Mudavadi wins, and there's a House Majority-elect at The Hague.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It works. It still works. In the sense that Uhuru, he still is a suspect. So he is not guilty until they prove him otherwise. What this means is that if he is deputy president to Musalia Mudavadi, that's a ceremonial position. He can take all the time at The Hague, occasionally take over a weekend if he'll be allowed to travel back to come and get sworn in as vice president. But he'll have all the time. If a case is ruled in his favor, he can actually tell Mudavadi, I want now to run 5 years down the road because I supported you. So that becomes a good compromise. The same thing with William Ruto. At least that gives them an opportunity. That is a good scenario if it were to happen. Will it happen? I don't know. It can only be forced.
Is G7 that smart? Are they that in tune to know that that's the only way they can win this thing? Because if they go as separate entities, they're toast.
That's what I'm saying. Are they capable? I don't think so, of understanding this and then going for that particular strategy. They have to be forced into that strategy. And the only person who can force them into that strategy is your uncle, the president. And I think he's already beginning to work and move around that particular possibility. And if he does so, then I think we are not going to have a runoff. This thing will be won for round one. And it means, therefore, that on or about the 28th of March, Musalia can be sworn in as president, Uhuru as his deputy, and Ruto as a majority leader. Mudavadi and Uhuru will be in the shortlist as one group, and the second group in that shortlist will be Raila Odinga and Charity Ngilu. So I think that will be actually a good strategy.
Which one would win in those two? If it was just one first round, which one would win?
First round, of course, Mudavadi, Uhuru, and Ruto would win. Straight.
Right now, Mudavadi's campaign seems lackluster at best. Looks like it's very lukewarm.
Yeah.
He's not drawing those crowds. He's not he's not connecting as well. You still think he has this chance? You still think it's that two-horse race?
Musalia Mudavadi will not become president. He will be made president by interests that are behind him, interests that are against Raila Odinga. So right now his campaign might appear like it is lukewarm, but when the time comes, those forces will converge and they will make him president. That's what I think. So he does not have to have the euphoria that you seem to have around the Raila meetings or the ones that you're having in the TNA meetings. But once those forces converge and they have the boardroom politics, that man will emerge. In fact, I want to hypothesize that we probably will not even have an election. That what we'll have on March 24th is showbiz and catwalk. So that the candidates are shown to us and they walk back, and then we go and say, yes, we agree. But the election will have been done in the boardroom. That's what I'm saying, that he will be made president.
April 10th and April 11th. In other words, you know, giving these people here, whoever's behind this thing that you're talking about, this cartel thing, saying, we need to get business done before April 10th.
Absolutely.
Which means the first round only.
Absolutely. And the interests here are actually contesting. They're contesting interest. If you look at Miguna's book, one of the things he says about Raila business connections is that Raila is in bed with mercenary companies, mining mafia, some of the groups that I mentioned, the people he sold Spectre International to, 55%, a group known as Engem Inc., or something like that. And it was part of a group that was operating in South Africa, a mercenary group, Dogs of War, known as Executive Outcomes.
Correct.
So there are those interests that are contesting on one side with Raila Odinga as their project. But then there are the other interests that are opposed to Raila Odinga, and that are both national and international. But the national ones are the stronger ones, led by your uncle, the president.
And they're the ones who will prevail in the end over those mining global interests who have staked their claim?
The mining global interests have also been known to be the dogs of war. Like, for instance, one of the chiefs of these companies, his daughter is married to one of the warlords that was in DRC. According to the evidence, if you look at the Miguna write-ups and you Google, you will see some of that stuff, which means that that group that is behind Raila Odinga is most likely going to have a strong contest with the local capital, the Kibakis, because Kibaki is the dean of local capital here. And also the multinationals are operating here, not the rogue ones. And as a result, the election, in my view, will not happen at the ballot. It will happen in the boardroom, where they will sit and they will say, okay, you, the mining mafia, how many votes do you have? X. You, the Kibakis and local capital and the Indians, what do you have? And then we vote. And then the Africans and the athletes will be invited to come and ratify. That's what will happen, Jeff.
So the next president of the Republic of Kenya is?
My best hunch is that the next president of the Republic of Kenya, for now, will be Musalia Mudavadi. And he will not be made president by the Luyas. The Luyas will be dominated into supporting him towards the end, maybe even a month before, around February, thereabout. That's when they'll say, oops, our guy is becoming president, and they will say, okay, let's support him. And it will be very sad, a very sad day for Raila Odinga, because I think he struggled very hard to become president, and I've told you in the past that he's more misunderstood than appreciated. And if there's a man who deserves it, it is this guy. Unfortunately, the gods are not with him. At least not this time, in my own thinking. Despite, and this will not be because of the Muguna sleazy book.
Yeah.
No.
Wow. Mutahi, you've just called it, man.